The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the beach in shades of orange and pink. As Marcus and Jasmine laughed, feeling the rare freedom of a vacation they had been dreaming about for months. It was supposed to be a simple escape from their busy lives, no work emails, no stress, just the two of them enjoying each other's company. But little did they know, danger was quietly closing in. A group of men had been watching the couple from the shadows, targeting them without any idea who they were dealing with. They assumed Marcus was just another tourist, unaware that beneath his calm smile and vacation clothes was a man trained for the most extreme situations. Marcus was a former Special Forces operative, a professional who had faced some of the world's deadliest threats, but this wasn't a mission. It was his personal life. As the night grew darker, Jasmine felt a strange unease. Noticing subtle movements in the distance, shadows that didn't belong, Marcus, sensing her tension, stayed alert, scanning the area with instincts honed over years of training. The couple's laughter was slowly replaced by a tense silence, a quiet before a storm that neither of them could yet see fully coming. What they thought would be a peaceful getaway was about to turn into a test of survival, trust, and quick thinking. And when the first confrontation finally erupts, it will change everything. The question is, can they outsmart the danger before it's too late? This setup keeps the suspense high and leaves viewers eager for the next part of the story. If you want, I can also craft a punchy second part that kicks off the confrontation while staying safe for YouTube. Do you want me to do that next? Marcus tightened his grip on the beach chair, his eyes flicking toward the tree line where the shadows had shifted again. Jasmine noticed the tension in his jaw and knew this wasn't just vacation nerves. She had always admired his calm under pressure, but tonight it felt different. He was calculating, alert in a way she had never seen before, outside of his military stories. As they walked back to their bungalow, Marcus's mind raced, replaying every detail from the past few hours. He remembered the subtle glances from the group that had been following them since lunch, the way their movements seemed coordinated, as if they had been planning something long before the couple even arrived. For Marcus, it was instinct that kicked in, the same instincts that had guided him through countless dangerous missions. But this wasn't a battlefield he could predict. This was his personal life, and Jasmine was in it with him. Jasmine tried to ask questions, but Marcus gave her a small, reassuring smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. He knew the best way to protect her was to stay calm, to blend in, and to make sure the danger never realized just how capable he really was. Yet the closer they got to their bungalow, the more the unease grew. The group of men seemed to be waiting, shadows lurking like predators just out of reach, watching every move. Every step Marcus took was measured, every glance checked the surroundings. But he knew one wrong move could spark a confrontation they couldn't escape from. Jasmine held his hand tighter, unaware of how close the storm was. And somewhere in those shadows, the attackers remained oblivious to the fact that they were about to face someone who was trained to survive anything. The night air had grown heavier, the distant sound of waves crashing against the shore mingling with the faint rustle of leaves. Marcus and Jasmine moved slowly toward their bungalow, each step deliberate. Marcus could sense the tension in the air, a low hum of danger that most people would never notice until it was too late. He had taught Jasmine to trust him, to follow his lead. But even now, he couldn't shake the feeling that the situation was escalating faster than he had anticipated. From the shadows, the group of men whispered among themselves, their voices low but filled with confidence. They believed Marcus and Jasmine were easy targets, just another couple enjoying a holiday. They didn't know about Marcus's background, didn't understand that every movement he made was calculated, every glance scanning for threats. One of them stepped a little too close to the pathway, and Marcus's instincts screamed for action, though he held himself back, waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, Jasmine's curiosity mixed with anxiety. She had started piecing together subtle clues and familiar footprints near their bungalow, a faint shadow that seemed to mirror their every move. She felt a twinge of fear, but also a strange sense of admiration for Marcus. She had always known he was disciplined and strong, but seeing him react to danger in real time was different. It made her realize how much he had carried on his own before, elsewhere. The men were dividing roles, planning what they thought would be an easy ambush. Little did they know they were walking into a situation far more dangerous than they imagined. Every moment stretched longer. Every shadow seemed alive, and the tension built as the couple neared the bungalow. Unaware of how close the first confrontation was, Marcus and Jasmine finally reached the small path leading to their bungalow. But the feeling of unease didn't leave. Marcus slowed, crouching slightly as he scanned the area. Every instinct in his body screamed that they weren't alone, that the men who had been shadowing them were closer than ever. Jasmine noticed the sudden change in his demeanor. His easy smile vanished, replaced with a quiet intensity that made her grip his arm tighter. In the darkness, shadows moved with deliberate caution. The group had split, some circling ahead, others trying to cut off escape routes. They whispered plans, unaware that Marcus's eyes had already noted their positions, their weaknesses. Each step they took, each rustle of leaves, seemed to echo with impending danger. Marcus adjusted his pace, leading Jasmine in ways that looked casual but were calculated to avoid detection. Jasmine's heart pounded in her chest, a mix of fear and anticipation. She had never imagined a vacation could feel like this, so close to danger. But she trusted Marcus completely, knowing he was capable of handling situations she could barely understand. Still, the tension was suffocating, the air thick with the possibility that one wrong move could ignite a confrontation. From the attackers' perspective, confidence was growing. They were convinced that their plan was flawless, that the couple would have no idea how to react. They were wrong. Marcus felt the pressure building, the threat intensifying with every passing second. Every shadow seemed to pulse with potential violence. Every sound amplified in the quiet night, and just as Marcus was about to make the next move, a sudden sound too precise to be nature cut through the air, signaling that the first real clash was about to begin. Just as Marcus tightened his stance, ready for whatever threat was coming, a faint vibration beneath his feet caught his attention. It wasn't the wind, it wasn't the waves, something else was moving. Something deliberate. Jasmine noticed his sudden pause and whispered, "What is it?" Marcus didn't answer immediately. His mind raced, assessing the shadows around them and the new, unexpected signal that hadn't been there before. From the darkness, one of the attackers stepped forward, but something about him seemed different. He hesitated, almost as if he recognized Marcus. Then, another figure appeared behind the first, and Marcus's heart skipped a beat. This wasn't part of the initial plan. Someone had tipped them off, and now the attackers weren't just random opportunists, they had inside knowledge. The realization hit Marcus like a cold wave. Someone knew who he was. Someone knew exactly what he was capable of. Jasmine's eyes widened as she sensed the shift in Marcus's demeanor. He was no longer just defending. They were now in a situation far more dangerous, with an unpredictable element. The group that had been confident and methodical moments ago now seemed sharper, almost calculating, as if they had anticipated Marcus's every move. Suddenly, a shadow moved behind the attackers, and a second twist unfolded a figure neither Marcus nor Jasmine recognized, but someone clearly allied with the attackers. The stakes had just risen dramatically. The vacation that was supposed to be peaceful had turned into a complex trap, one that threatened not just their safety but also the carefully hidden past Marcus had worked so hard to leave behind. The night grew colder, the tension thick, and every moment brought them closer to a confrontation that could change everything. Marcus moved like a shadow, his movements precise and controlled, every step calculated to protect Jasmine and neutralize the threat. The attackers had advanced too quickly, and the tension erupted in an instant. The first man lunged, but Marcus was already anticipating it, redirecting him with a swift, expert maneuver that left the assailants stunned. Jasmine ducked instinctively, her pulse racing, while Marcus scanned the remaining attackers, reading their intentions as if he had done this 1,000 times before. The unexpected figure from the shadows revealed themselves fully, and Marcus froze for a split second. It was someone from his past, a former colleague he had thought long gone. Their presence complicated everything. This wasn't just an attack anymore, it was personal. The figure stepped forward, voice calm but edged with something dangerous, making it clear they had orchestrated the ambush, knowing Marcus would be here. Marcus didn't flinch. Years of special forces training kicked in, and he moved with precision, disarming and redirecting the attackers while keeping Jasmine close. The confrontation was intense, adrenaline surging, but Marcus remained composed, using every advantage and reading every movement. In moments, the attackers were neutralized, lying incapacitated or retreating in confusion, unable to believe they had underestimated him. As the dust settled, Marcus turned to Jasmine, relief mingling with exhaustion. She had been safe, but the night had changed them both. Just as they started to breathe, the final twist revealed itself, a subtle sound behind them, a single shadow separating from the darkness, watching silently. Marcus knew the threat wasn't completely gone, the vacation had ended, but the danger and the secrets from Marcus's past were far from over. Marcus led Jasmine inside their bungalow, locking the door behind them and leaning against it for a long moment. The adrenaline from the confrontation still coursed through his veins, but seeing Jasmine safe gave him a sense of calm he hadn't felt in hours. She looked at him with wide eyes, her hand gripping his, and he realized how close they had come to losing everything. Outside, the night had grown quieter. The attackers had retreated, and the shadowy figure from Marcus's past had vanished as suddenly as they appeared, leaving questions lingering in the air. Marcus knew they would have to be cautious moving forward. He couldn't let his guard down, but for now, the immediate danger was over. Jasmine leaned into him, realizing that beneath his calm exterior was a man who carried not just strength, but experience and wisdom that protected them both. The vacation they had dreamed about had taken a dark turn, but it also revealed truths about trust, resilience, and the depth of their bond. Marcus and Jasmine spent the rest of the night talking quietly, planning their next steps while reflecting on the events that had unfolded. The beach that had once felt like a paradise now held memories of tension, survival, and courage. By dawn, they stepped outside, the sun rising over the horizon, signaling a new beginning. The danger had passed, but the lessons remained: vigilance, trust, and the reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Marcus held Jasmine close, knowing that no matter what shadows lurked in the world, together they could face anything. and the bond between them was stronger than ever. The story ended with safety restored, hearts stronger, and the subtle hint that life's challenges never truly disappear, they only prepare us for the next chapter.